Hey, Gavax here. Today I want to go through the 22 things that still aren't in Madden 22 that I feel should be. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see in 22, from, showing where your power-up passes are in MUT to more wacky gameplay in the yard with, power-up spots that you can get, like, super jumps out of. Let me know, of course, and let's just get into the list that I got. Plaster concepts on scramble drills, right? So when a quarterback escapes out of the pocket, the wide receivers in this game, they kind of like go on rails a lot of times. Just go like random directions. Like if they're on the sideline, they'll go up. If they're close to you, come back. They're very robotic. It's like pre-programmed. It hasn't been touched, it feels like, in 10, 15 years, the scramble drill. And then on the defense, all you got is basically traffic cones out there. Unless you hit R3 to send your guy at the quarterback, only user is basically the only guy left there to kind of play. Now, the plaster concept is basically when the quarterback escapes, somebody on the defense yells plaster, 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 and then like basically everyone in the defense, or maybe we could click a button, it would be the way of doing a video game, everybody on the defense immediately runs towards the closest receiver towards them and tries to cover them, right? Plaster on them. So instead, if you're in man, if you're in zone, whatever it is, you just basically convert and you just try to go to that guy and cover him and stay there and to kind of limit the damage a scramble drill can do to stress the defense passing. Now, obviously, you would want somebody like, getting up. The spy can still be there to contain the quarterback, run at them, or a guy you can hit R3 to have the closest guy go to him just like you can right now in MUT. But basically, it would allow your guys to become like more realistic and properly defend the scramble drill. So scramble drill improvements need to happen, and we don't see a plaster concept coming in 22. Next one is MUT practice mode. Now, I got a lot of MUT stuff, got a lot of franchise stuff on this list. First one here is MUT after the gameplay one. Basically, we've wanted for a long time a way of testing our cards out somewhere in game against other cards, maybe with certain ability combos. Hey, does this edge threat get countered by a secure protector, or do we need some other sort of pass blocking way of doing it? And it's very hard to do that in regs because a lot of abilities aren't given to regular players. Some players have a combination of abilities that kind of mix up, like Jalen Ramsey had bench press and man coverage, so it's hard to isolate. How do you play man when somebody's just using like a one step ahead, but you don't want to see the bench press fatigue on there too? So having the ability to take our teams in their customizable to practice mode would help us get a better understanding of the game, help us get better at the game itself, because some schemes that work in regs and with regular rosters, you won't find separation in MUT and back and forth. So practice mode, it plays a little different than MUT too, so it would be nice to have a certain like way of saying, hey, this is a one-to-one representation of Madden Ultimate Team, either on All Pro or All Madden, with the different difficulties that you can play online with. Next up, a story that's not on rails. This is a face of the franchise complaint. Yes, I'm still talking about face of the franchise. I know I said, I should just forget about it because it just brings nothing but pain. The fact that the devs are putting so much time into face of the franchise, we can putting that into classic franchise, putting it into MUT, putting it into gameplay. It's just like every year they come out with a new story, and every year I leave more disappointed than the previous. Now, I like that they're bringing in the new yard to kind of tying in a little bit. You have cross-player progression right there. But the stories themselves, right? These first-person stories, the only reason you put it in is that it's a good story. And I just haven't seen a good story. It's been the same thing year after year. It's felt like this year you're a first-round draft pick and you're a superstar or whatever. It's not compelling. It's very few choices will change things for you. I mean, games in the past that have been first-person stories take years to develop. The fact that EA is doing this one year after another, like, it just doesn't offer the opportunity to give a lot of depth to it, and it feels like a lot of wasted dev time for it. So, face of the franchise, big L with its story in 22, because it's just a movie instead of a football game. Next on the list, match coverage that's realistic. Now, match coverage has gone through a few times in its existence that it's been better and worse, right? And I think 21 had decent match coverage. You didn't see a lot of it. You saw it sometimes. There's still ways of easily breaking it. Guys get their coverages, their trade-offs confused, and you can get one-play touchdowns too often. And like oftentimes match coverage, it's designed a lot against certain sets. Like some match coverage is designed, hey, this cover 4 box is supposed to work against bunch, and it does, right? That's why you don't see bunch every play in the NFL like you do in Madden, because they have coverage concepts like these match coverages to stop players going certain directions. So like a corner route out of a bunch, while a lot of times is undefendable as long as it's the right corner, in Madden, in the NFL, they're like, okay, well, I'm just running to the sidelines with you because I got this outside quarter and I'm going to match you because you're the number 1 receiver outside. So it's unfortunate that there's still a lot of exploiting of match coverage, and I wish they'd spend a lot of time on it and to get it realistic and to get it fixed, and then like it could be a little bit better counterplay so that way the meta isn't so heavily dominated like it has been for the last 5-6 years in gun bunch. Next one, formation subs and preset audibles. Now, formation subs are a thing in franchise, but not in MUT. Preset audibles are something that's in nothing, right? Like if you could set it maybe on the home screen where, hey, okay, I want this audible for my team to be in this bunch, in this formation, and whatever, just to stay there all around so we don't have to spend the first 20, 30 seconds. Sometimes people take timeouts to set their audibles before the game. If I could just have them set and like set it and forget it like a rotisserie chicken out there, and then just come back to the deliciousness of playing online, just get into the game. Like their thing last year was fast to fun. It's not very fast to fun when I have to mess around with my adjustments, with my coast adjustments every game at the beginning of the game. That's time wasted, and that kind of bores people. So the fact that we don't have customizable audibles is a dang shame. And formation subs and MUT, I'm kind of disappointed they're not in 22 yet also. Next on the list, another MUT thing. Where's our power-up passes, EA? Huh? We gotta get a note. EA told us to get a notebook to track our power-up passes. And get a notepad, I think is what the actual word was. Some people have gotten hack-arounds. They use the power-up border on players they've used the power-up pass on. And that's smart. There are different ways of getting around it. Write it down yourself. But I feel like for ease of use, there's a lot of things that they could do basically to make it life a little bit better for the customers. And allowing us to see the power-up pass, that'd be a good one. Flea flickers and trick plays on the field. We have a couple trick plays. We have a halfback option pass that we see out of, I don't think it's option pass. Halfback toss pass out of like New England, maybe a couple other books. There's other like Philly special play. We got Wildcat and stuff. Wildcat's not necessarily like a trick play though, but like there used to be in Madden flea flickers, right? It used to be there. There used to be ability to get the ball and toss it back to the quarterback. And maybe got a little glitchy. They had to take it out of the game. It didn't jive with a new system that they put in. But where are they? Why haven't they brought that back? Why haven't they brought the specialization? Why can't we design our own play? Another point. Where is create a play? That would be kind of neat to bring back too. Obviously, it launched into a lot of broken things in offense. Maybe make offense too powerful. But in the end, isn't that the ideal future solution for Madden, is to allow like your defense to be customizable, your offense to be customizable, and then like nothing that would be too offensive and game breaking in those two. Now you'd be like, oh man, it's a can of worms, can't do that, that'd be awful. Another thing for the list is, why can't we put receivers at running back? They do it all the time in the NFL. We see Randall Cobb coming back to Green Bay to be again once the number 1 running back. Just waiting for the comments on that one. And so it's tough to see that they restrict us so much on offense, and defense has gone a lot to positionless football in Madden. You see a lot of nickel sets being run because we can play the run better. Now we'll see, of course, in next gen if we do need to have more linebackers, heavier guys out there to deal with linemen. But I mean, even safeties that are called safeties, like Isaiah Simmons is basically middle linebacker weight, right? He's like 235, 6'4". He's an absolute beast out there. So he's basically similar to a lot of other linebackers. Like we got like Devin Bush and Steelers. Like they're similar sizes. It's more positionless now. So it's unfortunate they still lock us in. Why can't we put a safety anywhere? Why don't linebackers jump like safeties? More things that aren't in Madden 22, and it's just frustrating. So an offense, same way. Let us put a wide receiver at tight end now. Like just allow us to customizable. I get it, the competitive aspects of the game. You don't want to be unbalanced, but you stop with the hack arounds to balance things, right? Stop not allowing us to snap the ball when a player's in motion. Another thing that won't be in 22. They didn't allow us in the beta when you had a guy in motion, you can't snap the ball because apparently you'll exploit cover 3 or man coverage in the game because they can't properly fix it. So hopefully they get rid of a lot of those hack arounds in the game. I know downfield blocking is still a big problem that will still have issues in 22. Another thing, and this is more controversial, head injuries aren't in 22. The NFL asked the EA, so this is on EA, to remove head injuries a while back. The ambulance on the field, all that stuff that was in the game, they were forced to take it out. A lot the same with customizable uniforms. So there's a lot of things that, of course, working with the NFL and their keen interest of their image and to ignore major problems in their game is forced EA's hand into removing some of those things. So that also won't be in 22, is head injuries. Loops and twists on the D-line won't be in 22. The entire Steelers defense gets a lot of pressure, a majority of the pressure through loops, twists, schemes like that on defense to kind of confuse the offensive line. TJ Watt will blitz through. He'll be like double teamed by the tackle and guard. Then a guy will loop around the T tackle, loop around, get in the quarterback's face. They'll throw like a bad throw, get intercepted. So we don't have that anymore. We used to have that in Madden. That's not going to be in 22 until they decide to fix that. They were worried about nanos in the past. I'm sure they're still worried about that. They do have nano detection now, which they didn't have in the past. So hopefully we get some sort of like D-line games back and future versions of Madden. I don't know where it's at. It's unfortunately not in the game right now. We also not going to be in 22 all-time teams and play now franchise, right? Like I want to play with the 85 Bears or the 86 Bears. Those two teams that should have both won Super Bowls, truly, but Ditka, I know Chicago, I'm already alienated Green Bay. Let's just mess up the Midwest. Chicago fans, Ditka wasn't the greatest coach. Hurricane Dick is gonna come for me. But anyways, or classic Steelers, 49ers, Cowboys, Giants, whatever you want to say. All these classic rosters that we used to have. And the problem with EA there is the fact that they used to just like put guys in the field in the game. They wouldn't name them. They put them like their likeness and their number. They got sued, so they had to take them out of the game for that reason. But if they can pay enough players, right? Like I want so many legends in this game, right? I'm just, maybe I'm just so like greedy and needy and I just want it. And I know it's tough to sign these guys. They got to get contact with them, got to make them sign a contract, got to work out pay, that kind of stuff. How many years they're going to be in the game. And then I know Mutt doesn't like it because then they don't get their big reveal of which legends are in the game that weekend. But all-time teams would be kind of nice, and especially if you can like put it in. Nobody really cares about the backups that much. You can make them fake players. But then like as you reveal a guy in Mutt, maybe they can unlock on the all-time team, whereas before they'd have just like generic numbers, names, or something until you unlock them in Mutt, so that way the all-time teams could be there. But that is something that's not in 22. I know that. Create a stadium is still not in 22. FIFA has it. MLB The Show has an amazing stadium creator, and that's not going to be in 22 for Madden. Frankly, probably due to workload, right? They're putting a lot more effort into franchise. They got the Yard, Superstar KO, Mutt, that they're putting effort into. Gameplay hopefully is getting fixed, but hopefully they can hire, I know the MLB guy said one guy worked on it for 4 years. So one guy at SDS Studio before this last year, I think they got a couple more people in to help him out, but one guy's 4 years of his time, like a senior coder, and he got the Create a Stadium into their game. It took him a long time. I know it's very difficult. Just looking at MLB's Stadium Creator, it's insane. It's very cool. I created my own stadiums. It's very fun. I love it, right? I love something like that in Mutt where you can build up your stadium. You can start on a high school field or a middle school field with a couple bleachers, and then as you get more rewards, do more solos, win more Super Bowls, you start hanging banners. You can start to get more a bigger stadium. You can get press boxes, so solos you get rewarded more depending on how big your stadium is for the series. The same thing in franchise mode would happen. So I'm just thinking of both of the ways that Create a Stadium could work for Madden in Ultimate Team and franchise. Joint practices in franchise, still not going to be there. I know some people want that. In preseason, you see a little bit of those guys going head to head. You see some of the best camp fights at joint practices. Some people ask for scrimmage and play against friends in franchise. Say you have your own single player franchise and your friend has their own single player franchise. You can play your franchise game against theirs. Obviously with creative players and you can edit stats. It's not going to be balanced, but it doesn't need to be a balanced thing. It just needs to be fun. I don't know how much it'll be used, but I think people enjoy when they build up their franchise. And maybe you can make it so they have to have roster custom changes off to play each other to make it competitive, but that just seems I don't know. It seems kind of unfun, but then again, the person that has to go against guys with 99 speed on the other side might be a little bit have a little bit unfun also. Online scrimmages would, I think, be enjoyable for franchise guys to check their teams against each other. Also could work in 32-man franchises. Those joint practices too might be a little fun. Get together in the preseason. Somebody asked this on Twitter. Somebody said bad snaps and snap rating for like long snappers. Now this would not be fun at all, right? A missed snap between your quarterback and center. It's not going to be in the game, right? It's not going to be in the game. I don't think it's going to be fun. I think it's good for like simulation mode. If you bring in a new center that week that doesn't have a lot of chemistry with your quarterback potential, there's a chance at a bad snap, especially if your long snapper gets injured. That's some real simulation football. It's those kind of random things are fun for people. Not in like a competitive environment, wouldn't work online, but definitely would be enjoyable to the franchise crew for like a bad snap, fumble, and people would be so angry. Well, that's bad luck, man. Your center goes down, and you don't have a lot of chemistry with the backups. You can't just like sign a guy off the street to replace your offensive line like you can in Madden normally. And then lastly, I want to talk about cross-platform gameplay. It's not going to be in 22. It's unfortunate. I really enjoy the cross-platform progression on MLB between PlayStation and Xbox. I got them both. Being able to play on both PlayStation and Xbox is so cool. It's nice to do the grind on either one, depending on which one I have plugged in at the time. Just get in, do some solos, and then like it transfers over to my Xbox account because I have them all linked. I have it linked to the online portal too, where I can buy and sell players on that stuff. So a lot of cross-platformness. I would not enjoy cross-platform with PC because not a fan of the PC market. No offense, PC gamers, but there was a lot of hacks. I wish you could turn it off in Warzone. It kind of drove me away from Warzone, not being able to turn off crossplay with PC and Xbox. So I kind of want it between PlayStation and Xbox, but leave PC and Stadia maybe on their own island for cross-platform gameplay. But progression, we do have, cross-gen progression, but we don't have platform. So hopefully Madden will have that in 23, but in 22 it does not have cross-platform gameplay. So that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the things that won't be in Madden 22, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Please like. We're headed for 100,000 subs in 22. Please on the channel. It's been 6 years we've been grinding. We're gonna try and get it this year. All right. See you tomorrow.